Yo, what's good, everybody? In today's video, I want to bring you guys a topic that I think most of us care a lot about. There's a lot of talk and a lot of, I don't know, murky waters around this topic, but it's a topic that it's gonna be for the better of all of us. It's a topic that it's gonna create some, actually good talk and within the community, the gaming community. Not the tech community doesn't care about this, but we should all individually and collectively care about this topic, and it's game preservation. What do I mean by game preservation? Every day, every year, games come and go, like literally like that, like if it was a Thanos snap or whatever. And it's the fact that companies right now are pushing for a lot of games, but then when games don't perform as well as they expect, or when games don't perform within a certain margin, within the first, I want to say maybe month or so, they usually can the projects and stuff like that. It has happened a lot. Conquerors, which was a horrible game. The other one was, what was it? It was a game that you had to buy it to play it on PC, mainly I think on Epic, and it literally died like within 2 weeks. So there's a lot of topic within the gaming community and the tech community as a whole of game preservation and media preservation as a whole. Also mainly due to the fact that Nintendo has a big take on this, whether people wanna emulate games on, specifically Nintendo games, on other devices, whether Android handhelds, Android phones, iPhones, whatever the case may be. And it's, again, game preservation. Why? Because they feel like it's stealing a car, like those back in the day, those advertisements that you say, oh, you wouldn't steal a car, would you? Whatever. But like Gabe Newell said once in an interview, game piracy, or in this case, I'm gonna mix it as a whole. Digital piracy, it's not a pricing problem. It's more like a convenience problem in this case. I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the quote off the top of my head, but it's mainly that we don't tend to, people don't tend to pirate things because of the price of set things, but it's mainly due to the fact that it's poor customer, I think, satisfaction in the case that, when Netflix hit, it was the biggest thing ever. Why? Because it was inconvenience to go out, buy a DVD for a movie that you may or may not like, and then you had a whole thing on your house that you saw it once and you maybe wasn't gonna see again or whatever. So streaming was like a huge boom. Why? Because it was a convenience thing. But then, everything started rising the prices. Netflix now costs, I think it's like almost $30 a month for 4K. And also game publishers started doing this thing also when they would release a game with online only capabilities. And then if the game wouldn't perform, then they would just take it offline. It has happened with a lot of games. Who remembers, I think it was Anthem, even though it lasted a long time. Anthem, what was the other one? Concourse. There was another one for PC that are High something, I don't remember the name. There was a lot of games that developers took out, and then those games are lost completely. Even if you bought like a physical copy of the game, that don't mean nothing because you can never play the game again. Why? Because those are server-only games and they need to interact with a server so you can actually whatever. So it started with a revolt on, I think it was in EU, about stop killing games. And why do I bring all this topic? It's mainly because I think these games that I'm gonna talk to you about were saved literally by modders. Why? Because either the games were popular, but not popular enough that people played it like a lot, or they weren't popular at all. And then through modding, people revived or renewed the experience for the game. And what are these games? I know there's gonna be hot topic because the game has released like within its lifespan it has released on like 30 different consoles and stuff like that, and console generations like 17 million times and stuff like that. And it's Skyrim. Skyrim, when it came out, it was okay. It was a good game. It was, I think, contender for Game of the Year, and it actually won Game of the Year. But that wasn't the case. It was the case that it either performed horribly on PC or people weren't actually like into it a lot, like a lot of people. So it was mainly like focused on people that loved RPGs and stuff like that. So not everybody was his cup of tea like it is with me. But through modding, you can actually make the game look like literally anything you want. And you can make it do whatever it is. And through modding, if you actually look on YouTube, you can find a whole bunch of things that people have done for the Skyrim. You've seen Thomas the Tank Engine. You've seen Pokemon on it being modded to it. You've seen Dragon Ball. You've seen whatever the case may be being modded into the game. And it's actually crazy the stuff that people have been able to come up with for Skyrim being modded. Another game that I think was heavily inspired by being modded, it was very successful due to the modding community, was Arma/DayZ. Why? Because it was a game that it was pretty jank to run on a computer. Even high-end computers wouldn't run it that well. And I think through modding, it gave a brand new life and a brand new like community of people that actually bought and played the game. I haven't actually played it because it's not my cup of tea or whatever. But yeah, it has a huge community. It became a huge ass game. It was niche down, but it was within the niche, it was super huge. Another game that I think was also saved by modding was Minecraft. It was always big. It was always like whatever, like super huge and popular and stuff, but it was mainly targeted towards kids. But a lot of adults that like Lego and stuff like that, and a lot of people started modding the game for things that they understood the game needed. A lot of quality of life things, a lot of things that people wanted to see in the game that, due to whatever the case may be, has not been implemented yet in the game. But yeah, it's a huge community of people finding mods and doing mods for things between vanilla Minecraft and modded, which I think is like, there's one called Paperweight, I think it's called, or Paper. There's another one called something. I know there's a huge community for modded Minecraft. Especially there was a huge community between, I think, 2015 and like 2018, 19 for modder streamers on Twitch. I don't know much about YouTube because I don't follow streaming that much on YouTube, but for Twitch, it was huge. There used to be like, maybe like every 2 or 3 weeks, there used to be a new mod that Minecraft streamers will be playing on and trying out and showing people off and stuff like that. Another game that was also huge and big in the modding community was Garry's Mod. I know it's a lot of games that people has a lot of memories for it, a lot of fond memories and stuff like that, but I never got into it, never actually played it, because I don't think any of my friends or cousins and brother and stuff wasn't into it that much, was Garry's Mod, but it was huge, also a huge ass community for Gary. Why? Because it was like a kind of like, I want to say janky, not because the game was janky itself, but it was like janky feeling game that had like a lot of potential, and a lot of the community salvaged that potential, I want to say, through modding. And it's one of the biggest games on Steam still to this day. And last but not least, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna say Minecraft, Skyrim, Garry's Mod, DayZ, and last but not least is the Counter-Strike community. You know, as an engine, it has been huge since like, I think the 90s or before the 90s. And throughout the years, it has evolved and stuff like that. And still like, there's a lot of old school, I think like Source 1.2, I think was the biggest Counter-Strike, I wanna say game, I guess, or engine or whatever it is. And since then, it's still huge. It's still popular. I know that Valve killed what was CSGO, or like when it was rebranded for the, like, I think it was like the 2010s or stuff like that. And that game still saw a lot of mods, a lot of community things being built, a lot of things that the community thought it could improve. Then they went into CSGO 2, whatever it's called. And even then, but still, there's a huge community for those old school type CS, like Counter-Strike engines and games and stuff like that. And yeah, it has been heavily modded between, I think, US-based mods being like war type thing, like being based on the US kind of aesthetic and stuff like that. Europe, a lot of things. So yeah, a lot of the community, especially for pretty popular games that even though are popular within the community, but don't sell that well, have been literally saved and revived again through the modding community. Whether it is that, let's say, a patch comes up for the game for whatever quality of life it is, then the modders be like, oh, you know what this game needs? And it's like this type of mod. Like, let's say, like I know for Skyrim, there's a lot of sexual type mods and stuff like that. I know that another game that was heavily modded when it was at its peak was Vice City. Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Vice City was a lot, modded a lot. Another one that was heavily modded was, I think the whole franchise of Grand Theft Auto has been heavily modded also. So those are my honorable mentions. I think also Red Dead. I don't know much about Red Dead 2, but Red Dead 1, I know it has been heavily modded as well. What other games that are super popular now because of the modding community? Dota, I think Dota is another game that has been heavily modded, especially Dota 2. I think that's another game that's very popular on Steam and it has been heavily modded by the community for whatever the case may be. I know they started as a mod within Warcraft and then it morphed into its own thing. But yeah, that's another thing. Another thing is Warcraft, like the actual real-time strategy. Well, it's not real-time, but strategy games from Blizzard has been heavily modded as well. Even the not so popular and not so fondly and kindly taken new releases of the game, like the remasters, those I think are also have been heavily modded. I know that when they released, I think it was the last batch of when they was gonna be actually available, like the old school ones on GOG, those got also heavily modded. A lot of people bought them, even though they already had them on battle.net, but a lot of people wanted it because, you know, you could get it DRM free and you can get the download files and stuff like that, and it's gonna be yours forever. So again, why do I bring you this topic right now? And it's mainly due to the fact that this is an ongoing topic that the whole gaming slash tech slash digital life and digital nomads and stuff like that community has been criticizing, whether it be Hollywood, producers, publishers and stuff like that. And it's mainly the push of digital goods that are not being actually sold to us, but actually like rented. Meaning that whenever they please, whenever, let's say, Valve thinks that the game you bought in 1994, it's no longer needed on their servers, or whatever it is that the publisher needs to revoke or taken down from the stores, you no longer have access to those games that you actually bought like years ago. And that's a pretty grim life to live, because imagine you bought a car and then, I don't know, 20 years later, the company that sold you the car be like, oh no, we feel like since we don't sell this car anymore and this car has been past its prime and it's no longer in production or whatever, we're gonna take it back and it's no longer gonna be yours. Imagine if people could do, if actually life was like that. Everything that you buy would be meaningless, because why would you buy something that's gonna be taken away from you, and whatever thing the company or the publisher or whoever made the game feels like. Like imagine if you could be like, oh, I bought this phone yesterday and the company went bankrupt and they already taken everybody's phones back to recoup the money and sell it back again to whatever, or give it back so they don't need to pay as much money for the bankruptcy or whatever, for the things that they owe. Imagine if life worked like that. What would be in for us, actually? What would be the thing for us to buy anything and be excited for whatever it is on life? It'd be meaningless. So imagine if you bought literally, I don't know, imagine if Microsoft would have went ahead with what they decided to do with the Xbox One when it released, when games would have been like attached to your console and you couldn't resell the games, even though there's a lot of those games that actually are connected to a server. So if the server is down and the server no longer exists, that game is utter trash. It literally doesn't work, doesn't do anything. It's literally a paperweight. So imagine if anything life starts becoming like that, like your movies, your TV shows, your books, the Amazon is already like taken out of people's account. Imagine if your games, your music, everything in life that is mainly being transitioned into digital starts becoming like that. That is not literally something that you bought. It's literally a license until the platform, the developer, the publisher, whoever came up with the idea of whatever is being sold to, be like, oh, I don't feel like selling this no more. Let me take it down from the store. That's a grim reality to live in. And I don't think that's one that I want to be living in. So this is a topic that I'm bringing to you as a conscious-based topic for you to think about the decisions and the choices that you can take to vote with your wallet. Let's say it's a game that is being heavily bad reviewed on Steam and every other platform because it has something that the community as a whole think doesn't need to be in the game. You need to vote with your wallet, so then they can, the publishers and the developers and whoever's in charge of making the game start taking into account that they need to make whatever it is that is being sold to us good, because we are the ones being serviced that thing, and we are the ones that we can either buy the game or the digital good in this case, because it's not a game, it's literally a digital good, and we can vote with it so they can take us into consideration when making certain decisions about whatever it is that is being sold. Also, another thing for the killing games thing is that the community wants, so whatever games it is that the publisher feels that they're no longer making money off of it, and it's costing them more money than the one they're actually making, having the servers up, just open source the code so the community can host it. Like, so people like us, like you and me, can have, I don't know, a NAS on our homes or whatever, and we can have like community-based and community-hosted servers that other people can play. So the games are still within us to keep, because it is our money that we spent and that we bought said game. And it should be us, it should be ours forever, not until some executive feels that it should be on our library. So again, guys, I know this is a hot topic. I know this is a heavy thing that I'm laying on you guys, but it's something to keep in mind, something for you to, think about at night, or think about when you're gonna make your next purchase of whatever digital good you're gonna be purchasing. Again, guys, this is me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.